And here, the Lalaji Maharaj's idea also supports that view that bliss, after all, is an intermediary state. There is something much greater waiting us. Namaskar ji. As usual, we continue with our chapter number 3 on spirituality. Those who worship the soul, along with the body and mind, have their attention fixed on the body, mind, and the soul as well, even though they do not know the purpose of the soul. They perform the activities of the waking, dream, and sleep states, and in spite of performing the activities of these three states, they are unaware of the truth about the soul. As such, they are ignorant. Such is their condition. So, this is pretty simple actually, that we all do identify ourselves with body, plus we also identify ourselves with subtle bodies like my thinking, my intellect, my ego, meaning my achievements, me and mine, things that belong to me. So we often remain busy with petty things, according to Lalaji Maharaj, too superficial to dwell on, and some also do identify them with soul, but not deep enough. Not so deep enough to understand the significance of the soul and its role in our life. Or you might say, role in its own life. Because after all, life is because of the soul, it's not because of myself. The words body minded, mind minded, and soul minded are abstract terms. The words having body, having mind, and having soul can be used instead. From the point of view of physicality, subtleness, and causal form, all the three coverings are found in all and on all jivas. The subtle mind occupies the middle place, which brings and can bring the tidings from the above and below. Subtle bodies. Here we have to understand, instead of subtle mind, try to understand it by substituting this word with subtle bodies actually. When these subtle bodies, that includes Chit, Manas, Buddhi, and Ahankar, then I think we are able to appreciate how and when these subtle bodies associate themselves with the higher realms, meaning the soul. So here I sense the hint here, indirect hint from dear Lalaji Maharaj, that as long as we remain identified, or as long as our mind remains oriented towards the lower, I think the chances of evolutions are pretty rare. But if we remain associated or identified with the significance of the higher realms, then there is a possibility of advancing from thinking to feeling, from intellect or buddhi to intuition and beyond into wisdom. First, there is the seed and then the tree. As the causal body is the seed, it comes first. The soul is not concerned with knowledge or gyan. There is steadiness, composure, comfort, and peace in the soul, because it has no concern even for knowledge. So, how can it become restless? Impossible. So, many people think it to be steady and yet call it knowledge. This is nothing but an error in expressing the thought. There is no movement in both Tam and Sat. At the extreme state of Tam and at the culmination of Sat, there is no movement. It's all steady. Moment is only in the middle state or rajas. If so, why is it said that action is the nature of the body, which is physical and is constituted of thumb? Action is in movement, and there should be no movement in stupefied condition. To me, the answer I would give to Lalaji Maharaj is that movement is the result of having a soul. Without this, jiva, there will not be any movement. That's why the definition of Atman, At and Man, meaning movement and thinking. That's the nature of the soul. Though on itself, it doesn't move, but it makes things move because of its presence. Action and knowledge, karma and jnana, are both in the mind. They are the characteristics of the subtle body. Truly speaking, action, knowledge, and their purpose, which is happiness. All these three are the characteristics of the mind, which is constituted of Raj. Action, knowledge, and bliss. All these three are intermediary states, and they are the characteristics of the mind. So here we can appreciate the beauty when Babuji Maharaj talks about when we enter after transcending the states belonging to religious person and enter states of spiritual realms, and then we move on further to reality. That too ends according to Babuji Maharaj, and he says now you enter the sphere of bliss. It is as though bliss is the ultimate, but there Babuji dissolves your doubts and says, no, you have to still go beyond into state of nothingness. And here, the Lalaji Maharaj's idea also supports that view that bliss, after all, is an intermediary state. There is something much greater waiting for us.